So springtime is finally here. Time to put away those heavy, woody fragrances, those heavier vanilla, spicy, boozy fragrances. It's time to put those away. Now we're going to be wearing some of the lighter, refreshing, fresh, citrus, aquatic, uplifting fragrances, the happy fun stuff. Today we're going to talk about my top spring fragrances from my collection. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Jredlamar, and we are gathered here today to discuss some spring fragrances. But before we get into it, make sure to like, share, subscribe to the channel. Make sure to hit the notification bell down below so you can be notified of all of my upcoming videos. In addition to YouTube, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at Jredlamar. And let's get into it. So today we're talking about my top spring fragrances. And these are fragrances that I currently own. So if you don't see something that you think is better, there's a chance I don't own it or I don't think it's that great. Are they the greatest spring fragrances in the world? Probably not, but they're the ones that I have, and they're the ones that I like the best. So my first fragrance for the spring is going to be Carolina Herrera's Bad Boy Cobalt. This is a sweet woody fragrance with a prominent plum note. There's also some lavender, pink pepper, geranium, and some woods in the dry down. This is a playful, youthful fragrance that works best in the spring, but if you ask me, this is something that you can actually wear year-round. To be honest, I bought this fragrance for that plum note. I love a good plum fragrance. Shout out to 1 Million Lucky and Risasi for Wise, which also contain prominent plum notes. A lot of people describe this fragrance as one that smells like blue-flavored gummy snacks, like gummy bears or gummy worms or something like that. It's very fun, very playful kind of scent. Now, the only drawback to this fragrance is that the performance is not great. And to fix that, they recently dropped an elixir version of this fragrance, but they took the plum note out of it. And for me, if I had to choose between smell and performance, I'm always going to choose smell. That being said, I went with the OG Bad Boy Cobalt. I just got the bigger 5-ounce bottle. Our next fragrance is from Hermes, and this one is Terre d'Hermes Eau de Toilette. This one is an earthy, spicy citrus fragrance. The key notes in this one is going to be orange, grapefruit, pepper, and vetiver. A lot of people describe it as a dirty orange. Think of an orange that fell out of a tree and landed in some wet grass and dirt. It kind of just sat there. It has this dirty earthiness to it that actually smells pretty good. And I'll admit, when I first got into fragrances, I wasn't a fan of this one. I remember testing it in a mall and thinking to myself, what in the world is this right here? And I remember just walking through the mall for the rest of the day, just smelling the back of my hand. By the time I was leaving the mall and got in the car to leave, I thought to myself, I think I actually like this. This smells pretty good. And from that point on, Terre d'Hermes has been one of my top spring fragrances. It's not beginner friendly and it's different, but I enjoy it. Our next fragrance is going to be Mancera's Intense Cedrat Boisé. Now, this was one of my first niche fragrances that I've ever purchased. This one has Sicilian citruses accompanied by some leather and some woods. And I believe the citruses is mostly made up of some orange, lemons, and some limes. And there's also some black currant thrown in there. It's a nice citrus fragrance, and the leather thrown in there gives it a more mature, manly kind of feel. It's long-lasting, and it's one of the more affordable niche fragrances that you can buy. Next, we have Nishane's Oolong Sha. This was love at first sniff. It's a citrus tea-based fragrance from Nishane, which is one of my favorite niche houses. This one has bergamot, mandarin orange, litchi tea, oolong tea, and there's also a fig note in there. It's bright, refreshing, and it's actually pretty strong. It smells like an Arnold Palmer to me. For those of you who frequent Chick-fil-A, they call it a Sunjoy. And it's basically an iced tea with some lemonade mixed into it. That's exactly how this fragrance smells. It's citrus, it's uplifting, it's a long-lasting, extreme concentration fragrance, and it smells so pleasant. Next, we have another from Nishane, and this one is called Hachivat. This one is one of their most popular scents. It's a pineapple, woody, mossy kind of fragrance. There's also grapefruit and bergamot in this one, but I mostly get the pineapple. And there's moss in this fragrance that stands out the most. The moss is very apparent. This is another extreme concentration, long-lasting fragrance. A lot of people call this an Aventus clone, and I have to disagree. We gotta stop calling every fragrance that has pineapple in it an Aventus clone. Creed Aventus does not own pineapple. Just because the fragrance has pineapple in it does not make it an Aventus clone. We gotta stop it. Aventus is not the sole owner of pineapples. Our next fragrance is from Jredlamar, and this one is called 40 Knots. Now, I will admit, I was hesitant to buy this fragrance as it does not smell like what the name suggests. You hear the name 40 Knots, you think of something that's aquatic, something that's fresh, something in that direction. And this ain't that. This one is like a wet, woody, salty, powdery kind of fragrance. A lot of people will compare this to baby wipes, and they're not too wrong. I can see the comparison. But this one has a luxurious smell to it, and it's long lasting. Smells very rich. Again, the name kind of throws it off, but it still smells really good. Our next fragrance is another from Hermes, and this one is H24 Eau de Parfum. Now, this one was a no-brainer for me. As someone who loves the Terre de Hermes line, that citric, grassy, earthy, vetiver kind of a fragrance, this right here isn't too far off from that scent profile. This one is a woody, earthy, mossy fragrance with a metallic twist thrown into it. Now, this one has no fruits in it. It has oak moss and clary sage that gives it this herbaceous kind of feel. And there's also this note called sclerine that gives it a woody, dry, metallic kind of feel. Again, something that's different, something I haven't smelled before, not beginner friendly. There's no fruits in this one, nothing to balance the woody earthiness of it like you get with Terre de Hermes. This one is straight earthiness, woody, metallicness. If metallicness was an actual word. You get what I mean. Next, we have the social media hype beast, none other than Versace Hawass. Now, I bought this fragrance way before the hype train came through social media, back when this was about $30, $40. This one is mostly watery notes, plum, apple, bergamot, and ambergris. It gives you a sweet, aquatic, fruity fragrance that's perfectly for the warm weather. I've worn this fragrance to the beach a couple of times. It is a beast mode of a fragrance. Make sure you go easy on the sprays because this one is very strong. And the performance played a big part in the hype surrounding Hawass. A lot of citrus aquatic fragrances, they don't last that long. But then you have Versace Hawass, where a couple of sprays will take you throughout the entire day. And it was really affordable. So our next fragrance for the springtime is going to be Mancera's Oud Lemon Mint. Lemon, oud, almond, and vanilla are your key players in this fragrance. Yes, there's also some oud in this fragrance, but it's a pleasant, non-stinky kind of oud. Actually smell like just regular woods. There's also some mint in this fragrance, but it's not as predominant as you would think, especially with it being part of the name of the fragrance. You get this woody lemon with some creamy almond and vanilla mixed into there. The almond and vanilla gives the sweet, creamy nuttiness that pairs well with that lemon note. It's a long-lasting fragrance. Now, don't let the name scare you away. You think it's a minty, oudy lemon scent. And again, it's not really an oudy scent, not much mint in it. It's lemon, almond, vanilla. Moving on, we have Bleecker Street by Bond No. 9. Now, this was my first fragrance I purchased from Bond No. 9. I call it Springtime in a Bottle. Your main notes here are going to be blueberry, violet leaf, and oak moss. I'm starting to notice a lot of these fragrances carry an oak moss note. Maybe I'm a big fan of oak moss. With this fragrance, you're going to get a fruity herbalness. And it was that blueberry note that drew me in. I don't know too many fragrances out there that have a blueberry note as one of the star players. But this one intrigued me, so I decided to give it a buy, and I do not regret it at all. It's an uplifting scent. It's springtime in a bottle. It's very nice. Performance could be a little better, but it's still an amazing scent. Getting closer to the end of our list today, we have Armani's Acqua di Gio Profondo. Now, this one is one of my favorite blue scents. This one has multiple aquatic notes accompanied by some green mandarin and some bergamot. But there's also these metallic notes that set this one apart from most other blue fragrances. The metallic notes adds a little maturity to this one. I like to call this one the more mass-appealing brother to Profumo. It also works well in the office, although I think Profumo is the more superior office scent. Profondo is going to be more versatile, and you're going to get more usage out of that one. And last but not least, we have Xerjoff's Herba Pura. Now, this one is one of the more popular fragrances from Xerjoff. It was actually my first purchase from Xerjoff. This one is a sweet, fruity, musky fragrance. It smells like a bowl of fruits. very strong, very synthetic. This one goes heavy on the fruits and musk and is followed by some vanilla and some amber. It is a beast mode fragrance that's gonna last all day long. You only need a few sprays. It's one of those fragrances that you're gonna smell even after you've done your laundry. It can be cloying after a while. I wanna say by the time you get to hour 10, 11, 12, you're like, okay, I've smelled enough of this. Let me take this shirt off, or let me go jump in the shower now, because this stuff is too strong and I've been smelling like fruits all day long. But if you love a good fruity musky fragrance, Urban Pure is the one for you. It's a unisex fragrance and women love it just as much. So those were my top fragrances for the springtime. This is one of those lists that's forever changing because I'm always buying new warm weather fragrances. As you know, in South Florida, it is almost always hot. It was actually 95 degrees a couple of days ago, and we haven't even got to summer yet. That being said, I'm buying warm weather fragrances year round. Let me know what some of your favorite spring fragrances are in the comments down below. Remember to like, share, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell down below so you can be notified of all of my upcoming videos. In addition to YouTube, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Jredlamar. Once again, my name is Jredlamar, and until next time, spray something.